For the last 5 years, I've been a One Piece YouTuber. But now with this new breakout that we're about to do, I think it's finally time for us to branch out. I've been talking about doing other content on this channel for a really long time, and I thought the best way to do different and new content, more diverse content, is to let people know a little bit about me. And to let you guys know a little bit more about me, I've decided to do a Watch Mojo gimmick. And that Watch Mojo gimmick is my top 10 anime/manga of all time. So this is gonna be a compiled list of what I believe is the best 10 anime/manga. So if there's series that only have a good manga, I'm putting them in this list and I'm gonna give you them. Now, a lot of this is my own personal bias, so don't take this as an objective list, but this is subjective. So I need to let you guys know before you start crashing out. Actually, you know what? I lied. I want you to crash out and disagree with me. Anywho, I'm gonna let you guys know what's on my list, and there will be no honorable mentions. Maybe there will be if some come to my mind, but for the most part, I had a few that I had to take off. Monster by Urasawa, incredible anime. I watched the dub. I mean, Johann Liebert, Tenma, like these characters were special to watch from beginning to the end. The ending was a little Mickey, but Monster was one of the best series that I enjoyed. So that didn't make the list, but that was around number 11. And I think there was another series. I don't remember what I had taken out. What else did I take out? Anywho, it don't matter. The editor will cut this out. No. Let's move on to number 10. If you guys don't know me, I'm an affectionate man. I'm a romantic. I'm a lover boy. This is things that people have known for a while, but I love a good romance. Toradora, to me, is my number 1 romance anime. I love Toradora. That was another honorable mention, but I had to pick Kaguya-sama Love is War as my number 10 because there was something about this series that depicted dating scenes, it depicted dating culture, it depicted all the stuff that we've been through between overthinking your approach and loving somebody and the other person likes you but y'all don't even know how to like really figure it out, and just all the stupid teenage nonsense that you used to deal with, and the childish crushes and dealing with heartbreak and betrayal. You kind of had everything in this goofy, hilarious, funny, but very real manga and anime. And this is a manga and anime. Like, the reason it hit the top 10 because the manga was really, really good. And I finished the manga, completed the series, and the anime is excellent. So I'm pretty sure a new season will be coming out. If you haven't watched Kaguya-sama Love is War, now is the endorsement. Watch it. The main character is amazing. He's very relatable. The main heroine is an incredibly smart, adorable, Kaguya is amazing. Ishigami, go. You're gonna love Ishigami. If you don't love Ishigami, you're not a real fan of the sport. You're not a real fan of the game of the brothers. Ishigami's a go. So you just have a line, and the Chica dance, if you've seen the Chica dance, that's where it comes from. It comes from the series. So obviously, check out Kaguya-sama Love is War. That is my number 10. And at number 9, a lot of people are gonna be shocked by this. My number 9 is One Piece. A lot of people are like, Jay, you're a One Piece YouTuber. How can you have One Piece at number 9? Now, One Piece will have a special place in my heart. It's the anime that I've watched the longest and followed the longest for my entire life. And pre-time skip to me is flawless. Pre-time skip to me is a 10 out of 10. One Piece will always forever be in my top 10, but there are series that I have watched after One Piece that I've just enjoyed more because as we ventured on into the post-time skip, as some more things have been revealed, some more things have changed in the story, my reverence for One Piece has dropped. So it still makes my top 10, but it's at my number 9. Mind you, I don't have any of the other big 3 on here. So if y'all want any solace, My Hero ain't here, Naruto ain't here, and Bleach ain't here. So, you know, if y'all want to take that as a W, take your meal, right? Take it. Anywho, One Piece is self-explanatory. One of the best animes of all time. It's literally the Star Wars of the anime verse. Like arguably the most popular worldwide anime we have in the story outside of Dragon Ball Z. Now, with the live action being good, with the popularity growing, we just got Speed now who's endorsed to reacting to One Piece episodes and the One Piece live action. One Piece is continuing to grow and is arguably going to be the most popular anime in the world of all time sooner or later. So One Piece, it's got to be top 10. Sorry for my One Piece fans out there if you're rattled. It is what it is. I'm just being honest. My number 8, Vinland Saga. When it comes to series that I enjoy, I love Vinland Saga. Everything that Vinland Saga encompasses, and maybe I'm just like a seinen merchant, so like the raw, violent, realistic, tragic, very this is how the world is themes that come with Vinland Saga moved me so much. And for me specifically, there's characters like Askeladd, who was an absolute masterpiece and a treasure to behold. Askeladd is one of the best characters I've ever watched in fiction. He was excellent from minute 1 to minute, whenever, right? Because I'm not going to spoil, but yeah, from minute whenever. Askeladd was excellent. Thorfinn's transformation throughout the story as an MC, from child, from boy, from teen to man. Unreal. His development, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, Vinland Season 2, that farmland arc was the pinnacle of human writing. And what I mean by human writing is it's writing and explaining humanity, and it's explaining introspective themes and deep thinking and transformation and change and conditioning. And it was just, oh my God. When it comes to emotional writing, One Piece is one of the best we've ever had. But when it comes to dealing with emotion, when it comes to dealing with the aftermath of emotion and tragedy, Vinland Saga is up there, man. And there's another series that does similar to Vinland Saga that's higher up on my list. Some of y'all can guess what it is. But Vinland Saga, it left an imprint on me that I really and I can't wait to finish the series. It's just ingrained and burned in my memory, man. Like, just excellent series. The anime openings, everything about it was incredible. Everything. And it's got Akio Asuka, so, the GOAT, Blackbeard, Zehaha. Number 7. This one is a personal favorite of mine. I have followed this series for as long as I can remember. You remember the times when you were loving anime and you're watching Toonami, or say you go say you're on a family trip, and this is a personal memory for me. I'm on a family trip. We're in a hotel, me and my sibling, we're in a hotel room, my parents are in another hotel room, and we turn on Cartoon Network and it's on Adult Swim, and an anime comes on. And you watch that anime, like, I have no idea what this is, but this looks amazing, and I'm just gonna watch it because it's cold. That anime is Eureka 7. When I watch Eureka 7, or Eureka 7, if you wanna, use the pronunciation that they use in Japanese, there's something about that series that ingrained itself on my childhood, and I'll never forget it. I was always a mecha kid. I grew up watching Gundam Wing. I grew up watching The Big O. I grew up watching Gundam 00. I grew up watching all of these mechas. I even watched Outer Noah Zero. I started to watch Galactic I'm trying to remember. Legend of Galactic Heroes. I am a mecha space nerd when it comes to anime. So like Eureka 7 was one of the real first, but it was done right. It was just, again, when it gets to themes of explaining humanity, explaining the destruction of humanity, explaining dealing with hardship, dealing with war, dealing with violence, a child in a brutal world, a boy trying to become a man, trying to live up to his father's legacy, a girl, an alien girl who comes into a world and she has no idea where she's from. She's trying to figure everything out. She's trying to be a mother at the same time. She's trying to understand what love is. You got characters like Ray and Charles, and we got characters like Toho and Holland and Renton and my brother. Like, y'all just listen. If there's any real ballers out there that have watched Eureka 7, it's the most underrated anime we have in the medium. And I am not joking when I tell you this. Eureka 7. Anyone that has told you they've watched Eureka 7, they are super stans. They're not regular stans. They're super stans. Everybody has that one series where not a lot of people really talk about it, but everyone that's watched it be like, yeah, that's GOAT right there. 9 out of 10, right? Eureka 7, that's a personal pick of mine. It'll always be in my top 10. And ironically, it's at 7 because Eureka 7. Number 6, to this day, the best binge I have ever had in my entire life. It's the manga of Kingdom. Kingdom is the best binge I have ever experienced in my life. There is something about the way Kingdom is written that just feeds your inner beast. Like, when I'm telling you, like, from the tactics, from the warfare, from the aura farming of all the generals and the strong combatants, from the MC just being your textbook bonehead, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, I'm not scared of nobody, like your textbook Luffy, Goku, just all in. I'm here to throw hands, I'm here to lead, I'm here to be a leader, I'm trying to be the general, the Hokage, whatever you want to call it. Everything about Kingdom is peak fiction. Everything. If people mention characters like Mobu, my God. There's a speech that this character Mobu gives that I was ready to stand on my feet, pick up a glaive, and start swinging at random strangers. FBI, please don't arrest me. Something about Kingdom just gets you on your feet. And the thing is the binge only gets better. So much till you get to a crescendo of coalition and you just vanish into ecstasy and disappear. That's what Kingdom is. Because anyone that tells you about coalition, you want to talk about one of the best arcs in the medium in manga history, Coalition top 5 easy money. And I promise you, if you haven't read it, you ain't get there. That's peak fiction. You got goats like Aoki, you got goats like Mobu, Dukyo, boy. Bro, I'm telling y'all not ready for the aura farm. That's really what it is. Y'all just not ready for the aura farming, right? There's just nothing but aura. Every single one of these generals that hold these glaives and these strikes, the way Hara, the artist, draws the fighting, it's like Dragon Ball Z, but realistic. I can't describe it to you any better than that. Just imagine two giant Asian men who are massive, giant armors on horses, and they have glaives, and every time they strike and clash, you feel like the whole earth is shaking. Kingdom, peak fiction, one of the best reads ever. There's a reason why Kingdom, without a good anime, is still outselling so many different manga without even an English adaptation. There's no English adaptation of the manga. I've been glazing Kingdom for too long. All I'm gonna say is, brother, if you haven't tapped into Kingdom, tap in, please. It's incredible, right? Incredible. Now we're getting to our top 5. This is a classic. It's expected, you know. This is like a Magic and Larry, right? It's like the Magic and Larry of anime, right? You just gotta have this on your list or you're not a real anime fan, right? Code Geass, right? Like Code Geass. Brother, Shibu Wo, right? The anime opening, Lelouch, one of the best endings we have in anime history. Suzaku, Colin, excuse me. The way Lelouch is the original emo edgy MC, but he's a chess master. But he, as a chess master that's trying to take over basically the United States of America on crack, basically. Maybe, you know, maybe Rome, whatever. It's literally just, it's like when you watch The Godfather, you watch Gladiator, and you sit down and you watch, and you're like, you know what? This is a classic I'm watching. It's a classic. All the characters, a large majority of the characters are good. The character interactions, the emotional moments, some of these death scenes are gonna break you. The emotional warfare, the actual warfare, the mechas. And if you love mecha animes, again, this is one of those original mechas. When mecha was at its peak, bro, we had things like Code Geass, Eureka 7, Gundam 00. You had peak mecha. This is when mecha was a viable medium in anime. Now we just got isekais 24/7, right? So, you know, it is what it is, but Code Geass, go. Peak fiction, raw, you love it. Number 4 is another personal pick of mine, but if you watch sports anime and you want to encapsulate everything that sports anime is, what it means to be an athlete, what it means to face adversity, what it means to have expectation, and that's the real difference between this sports anime and a lot of other sports anime, because a lot of these other sports animes, they all got an underdog gimmick. Ace of Diamond is different. Ace of Diamond, to me, is the best sports anime out there. Now, you have Hajime no Ippo, which is also an honorable mention of mine, and there's Haikyuu, which is also another honorable mention of mine. But Ace of Diamond hits different for me because the MC is special. The MC is the definition of someone with raw talent, but has to work everything he got. And when I tell you work, the beauty of this anime is it shows you the work. There's no off screen. There's no I've got better off screen. It shows you the hustle. It shows you the grind, the tears, the mistakes, the learning from your mistakes, the pain, the suffering, overcoming adversity, not just with the MC, but with everybody. In this anime, everybody has to overcome adversity. In this anime, there are winners and there are losers. In this anime, there is defeat. There is devastation. There is pain. There is no comebacks. There is no Mickey Mouse. It's all real. It's real ball. And the craziest part is I don't even like baseball like that. But the writing of this anime, the writing of this manga, it makes you so intrigued by the sport of baseball because you don't realize how psychological of a game it is. You don't realize how hard it is to be a team that is actually meant to be one of the top 3 schools in the entire nation, or at least in the region. They're meant to win. And the preparation to get to that point, the expectations that they have to live up to, the standards they have to live up to, the amount of people that are trying to compete to be on the first team, and the people that get cut, the people that get in, you really start to understand the mind of an athlete and how they have to sacrifice everything. Like literally everything. Their life is the sport. Their life is the training. Their life is the grind. It shows you someone that's really on their purpose, that has a goal and that locks in. I'm preaching right now, but I can't tell you how much my son, Eijun Sawamura, the MC of MCs, locks in. That's my son. That's my baby boy. And if you watch Ace of Diamond, he gonna become your son and your baby boy. So if this is not an endorsement for you to watch Ace of Diamond, God, please go watch it now, because it's peak fiction. Next up, Berserk. Rest in peace, Miura. Berserk, before Miura's passing, is one of the most eye-opening, shocking, controversial yet thrilling reads I've ever had. When I read Berserk, and I watch the movies, and I love the movies, and I've watched the 1997 anime as well. When I experienced the medium of Berserk, the story of Berserk, there were so many feelings and there were so many thoughts that I had that shook me. to my core. And it's the story of this man that's really just struggling to survive constantly through hell. And when I say hell, I literally mean hell. Like, the things he's gone through, I wouldn't have made it through. I just wouldn't have. It's the things that made him who he is and how he has had to struggle to survive and then grow and gain humanity, gain hope, gain love, and lose it, and then have to rebuild himself again. And how Miura writes it with, sometimes it's just a facial expression where you notice a change in him. Sometimes it's a side character that really, in the grand scheme of things, means nothing, but the interaction of that small side character with the MC is the most profound thing you'll ever see, and how it helps the character develop to the villain of the story, who is literally one of the best written characters we've ever seen, and his descent into villainy is also one of the best things you've ever seen, because the build up to it is almost it's extremely shocking, but it's also brilliantly written, and we're led into it brilliantly. We're caressed into the descent to madness. And it's like, it's just one of those things that if you enjoy literature, like good literature, and you can stomach some dark themes because it's very dark and very morbid. So if you can't stomach that, then don't read it. But if you're capable of stomaching the dark, morbid nature and the dark side of humanity, because it really expresses it, sometimes a little too much, if I'm gonna be frank, it is a brilliantly written story. Everything about it is masterful. So Berserk had to be on the top 3. I own a lot of the deluxe volumes. I need to buy the rest. It's just such a good series. Had to be in my top 3. My number 2, you guys should know what my top 2 is if you've known this channel, if you know me for a while. But my number 2, Hunter x Hunter. Now, a lot of people are like, Jay, how's Hunter x Hunter not your number 1? And I'll let you guys know, because they're really joint top 1s, but I had to pick one. Hunter x Hunter is, to me, a story that I've enjoyed in its entirety, from start to finish, all the way up to where the manga is now. It's never let me down, never. Even in Berserk, there are some parts, so I'm like, I don't know. With Hunter x Hunter, everything seems to just coincide and flow together perfectly. And the reason is because I'm such a character-driven guy. When I read stories, I'm very much character-driven. I love the journeys of characters, and Hunter x Hunter is literally just a masterclass at character writing. It's a masterclass at character development, where like I see characters like Kurapika and how they developed. And guys, if you have not read volume 0 of Kurapika's story, please read that, because it'll really open your eyes to Kurapika. The Phantom Troop, Krollo, Killua. Oh my god, what a character Killua Zoldyck is. One of my favorite characters of all time. Gon, and how Gon and Killua work together, how they foil each other perfectly. Once they hit the Chimera Ant arc, how those two change drastically, and everything just makes sense. I mean, the character of Meruem, brilliantly written character. I rewatched Greed Island and I started to love Greed Island. I mean, I had a newfound appreciation for Genthru. Hisoka is so popular. Hisoka's toxic. God almighty, someone called the police on that, but he is toxic. The Zoldyck family, the world building, the Dark Continent, the Succession War, what's going on with that? Like Netero, beyond Netero, brother. Like, the characters in Hunter x Hunter, there's so many good characters. There's so much to talk about with Hunter x Hunter. I could be here for 25 hours. And then the power system, Nen. The whole power system of Nen is its own manga. It's its own experience, because Nen is so intrinsically tied to the character that Nen almost is character writing. It's part of the character development of the character. Their Nen abilities, how they use their Nen abilities, it's so tied. It's such a masterful power system. It gets very complex and it gets overly explained. So that's one of the flaws that it has, is Togashi's a yapper and he likes to over explain things. But as someone that likes to be told what is going on so I can immerse myself in the story deeper, I love it. Now, there are some stories where you don't need to be told much and they've done it right. But the way Togashi lets you know exactly what's going on in that moment in time, it's almost as if it's an easier read. It's easier to absorb. And I know that's crazy because Hunter x Hunter has a lot of dialogue, but it's so easy to absorb because then you can look at the full picture of what's going on and understand why that happened and what this happened and that, and you can almost anticipate what's going to happen next because Togashi lets you know exactly what the thought process was of that character in that moment, which will eventually lead to this, which will eventually lead to that, this and that and that and that and that. So Hunter x Hunter, peak fiction. incredible, like it's an incredible story, and I'll be making a lot more Hunter x Hunter videos and explaining things that I loved in Hunter x Hunter, and probably go over some arcs and all kinds of stuff like that, because I got a lot to talk about, because I haven't been sharing myself with y'all enough. So this is the start of all of that. And then we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as my #1. Listen, guys, I know some people like,
Jay, how could you have FMAB over Hunter x Hunter?
The reason I can say this is just because FMAB has ended, and the ending was perfect. And it's very rare that you have series that end as well as FMAB has. Code Geass was a good ending. Eureka 7 actually wasn't a bad ending either. Attack on Titan was questionable, and I know people like Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan's a honorable mention, but Attack on Titan didn't put its mark on me the way FMAB did. And it's because, again, when it comes to character-driven stories, the plot is fine and the plot is good, but every single character in FMAB is relevant and not wasted. That is why I love FMAB so much. Every single character has their moment, they get their development, you see who they are, you know who they are, and you love their story. And I can just list off names where, I mean, the villain, Fuhrer King Bradley, incredible. The main villain father, he's fine. He had a good story, the homunculus and the flask, he had a good story. But Fuhrer King Bradley, one of the best villains I've ever seen. Just aura farm galore, character writing. It's almost as if his story is tragic yet understandable. Like, obviously he chose what he chose, but at the same time, I mean, I just don't want to spoil, but like the story between him and his wife, and how and deciding who he actually and figuring out who he actually was, and then you figure out the story with his wife. It's almost as if that writing alone was like, at your very core, you tried to deny it, but you were just like him too, and you hated it. That's why you were, his name was Wrath, and that's why I had so much wrath, and I'm just like, the writing, so good. The women in this show, bro, you want to talk about, yo, people crash out like, we don't have enough good women in anime. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does not have a bad woman character in the show. I mean, my God. Winry, Hawkeye, Lieutenant Ross, Armstrong, Uzumi Curtis, I'm just a housewife. Wara housewife, she a goat. She ain't just a housewife. Lieutenant Armstrong, Maze Hughes, oh my Lord, Maze Hughes, don't get me started. Oh my God. Maze Hughes, I tell you, every time I see that scene, I cry. Every time I see that scene, I cry. Maze Hughes, Goat, Scar, the Ishvalans, Kimli the Rat, I mean, the homunculus, the homunculi, whatever you want to call it, Greed. Greed. Even what are the guys that had their armor, that their souls attached to the armor? What's his name? Is it Barry the Chopper? Yeah, I mean, God, like these characters. Mei Ling or Mei Li, I don't even remember her name. I need to rewatch FMAB. Bro, FMAB, brother. I could sit down and talk about FMAB, and I'll probably do a video on it. I just talk about it, and it's like the way it ended, it was so perfect, and the conclusion was perfect, and the theme was perfect, and like the ultimate resolution of the conflict was perfect, and like the build-up from episode 1 all the way to the end, everything was just one cohesive crescendo of a story that perfectly wrapped everything up. To me, it's the most complete anime I've watched. It's just complete. It's a complete series, and that's why it's my top 1, because Hunter x Hunter isn't finished yet. It just isn't finished yet. And FMAB, when I'm thinking about it, the ending, I love every character. Edward Elric is literally my favorite shonen MC. If you talk about shonen MCs, Edward Elric is #1. The finger point, for those in the comment section that know about that finger point, you know what I'm talking about. One of the most iconic scenes in anime history. Edward Elric, from boy to man to goat. That was his story, boy to man to goat. Edward Elric is goated. I love him. Alphonse, you know, lil bro, we love him. Winry, Queen. There's so many characters that you think are so minuscule, but they're so good. From MV, like, I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day. That's my top 10, y'all. And if y'all disagree, cry about it in the comment sections. Let me know. Tell me I'm stupid, even though I know I'm not. But yeah, this is just a little bit about me, and I'll be doing my top 10 characters after this, so expect that. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know other top 10s that you want me to talk about. If you want to get to know more about my anime taste, and I'll share them with you. But this is just the start of a lot of different type of videos, so I hope you enjoy, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out. Till next time. Take care.